Hello everyone, I'm Mr. Furlong, and today we're talking about the environmental effects on phenotypes. Oftentimes we have the idea that a genotype results in a specific phenotype, and that's not always the case. Sometimes you could have individuals with the same genotype, but they have multiple different phenotypes, and sometimes it could be even in the same organism. So let's take a look at an example of this. We know that environmental factors can influence gene expression. If the environmental condition changes, then the expression of that gene will change. So for instance, here we see some hydrangeas. Now these flowers have a particular genotype for flower color, yet we see blues and pinks and different shades in between each one of those, and that is all based on the pH of the soil. So depending on the pH of the soil, if it has an acidic pH, those flowers are going to turn blue. But if there's a basic pH, they're going to turn pink. And even in the same growing season, you can change the pH of your soil, and new flowers will have that particular color. So even though they all have the same genotype for flower color, the environment, in this case the soil pH, is going to determine what that flower color will actually be. Another example is with the Arctic hares. So they have a particular genotype for fur color. During the warmer months, they're going to be a more brownish color, allows them to blend in better with their surroundings. But in the winter time and the snow falls and it gets colder out, the lower temperatures is going to cause the fur to turn to a white color, which allows them to blend in better and be hidden from their predators. When it warms up again in the spring, they change back to the brown color again. Same genotype for fur color, but the fur color changes based on the temperature. This is what is known as phenotypic plasticity, which is the ability of one genotype to produce more than one phenotype. So let's look at another example. In plant species, the number of stomates can be determined by the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. For instance, here we're taking a look at the underside of a leaf, and the red arrows are pointing to the stomates. Now, in areas where there's higher amounts of CO2, there's going to be fewer stomates. Remember, the stomate is little tiny holes in the leaf that allows carbon dioxide to get inside the leaf for photosynthesis. In areas where there's less CO2, there's going to be more stomates. So the plant needs to get a certain amount of CO2 in order for photosynthesis to take place. So they can alter the number of stomates that they produce. Let's take a look at another example. Here we have in the Australian bearded lizard, they have two sex chromosomes. Now they don't use X and Y, they use Z and W. Two Z's make a male and a ZW a female. However, if the temperature of the eggs rise, a ZZ genotype will become female. So if we look at this in terms of climate change, if the temperatures are beginning to rise, when the eggs are incubating, the temperature goes up, you're going to have more females in the population than males. And if the temperature goes up enough, you're only going to have females in the population, which could affect the population in the future. So just keep in mind that just because you have a particular genotype doesn't mean that you're going to have a specific phenotype. Doesn't work that way. And I'll see you in class.